Clara had always loved chocolate. She loved its rich, creamy taste, its sweet smell, and the way it melted in her mouth. Every birthday, Clara asked for chocolate cake, and for every holiday, she received boxes of her favorite chocolate truffles. But nothing excited her more than the stories she heard about the Sweetberry Chocolate Factory, the most famous chocolate factory in the world. Legend had it that Sweetberry wasn't just any ordinary chocolate factory. It was filled with magical wonders: chocolate rivers that bubbled like fountains, candy trees that grew marshmallow fruits, and even talking chocolate animals. The factory's owner, Mr. Sweetberry, was a mysterious man who no one had seen in years. He was known for his secret recipes that made Sweetberry chocolate the best in the world. One sunny afternoon, Clara was sitting at her kitchen table with her parents, munching on a chocolate bar, when something incredible happened. As she peeled back the wrapper, she saw something shiny inside, a golden ticket. Her heart raced as she read the "Congratulations! You have won a tour of the Sweetberry Chocolate Factory. Report to the factory gates tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. sharp." Clara could hardly believe her eyes. She had dreamed of visiting the factory for as long as she could remember, and now her wish was coming true. The next morning, Clara arrived at the gates of the Sweetberry Chocolate Factory. She was greeted by a cheerful, tiny man named Chip, who introduced himself as Mr. Sweetberry's assistant. "Welcome to the factory, Clara. You're in for a magical adventure." Clara's eyes sparkled with excitement as the gates opened, revealing a world more wonderful than she had ever imagined. Inside the factory, giant chocolate fountains gushed with rivers of caramel and chocolate, lollipop trees swayed in the breeze, and candy clouds floated above her head. As Chip led Clara deeper into the factory, they passed through room after room of incredible sweets. In one room, chocolate bunnies hopped playfully around, nibbling on cocoa leaves. In another, sugar crystals grew like flowers. "This is amazing!" Clara exclaimed. "I've never seen anything like it." But as Clara continued her tour, she noticed something strange. Some of the chocolate machines were sputtering, and some candy trees had lost their colorful leaves. "What's going on?" Clara asked Chip, frowning. "Why does it look like some parts of the factory are broken?" Chip hesitated, his cheerful smile fading. "Well," he began, "the factory has been having some problems lately. Mr. Sweetberry's magical recipes are starting to lose their power, and no one knows why. If we don't figure it out soon, the entire factory could stop making chocolate." Clara gasped. "That can't happen. Sweetberry chocolates are the best in the world. There has to be a way to fix it." Chip nodded. "Mr. Sweetberry believes there's a secret ingredient hidden somewhere in the factory. If we can find it, we might be able to restore the magic and save the chocolate." Determined to help, Clara decided to search for the missing ingredient. Chip handed her a special map of the factory that showed secret passages and hidden rooms. Together, they set off on an adventure through the factory's most mysterious areas. Their first stop was the chocolate maze, a winding path lined with towering chocolate walls and sticky caramel traps. Clara and Chip carefully navigated the maze, dodging giant gummy bears that tried to block their way. At the end of the maze, they found a clue carved into a chocolate stone. The answer lies where the cocoa beans grow. Clara's eyes lit up. "The cocoa beans. That must mean we need to go to the cocoa room." Chip led Clara to the cocoa room, where cocoa beans were harvested from magical cocoa trees. The trees sparkled with golden leaves, but the air felt heavy with silence. Clara spotted a small door hidden behind the largest tree. "Look, that must lead to the secret chamber," she said. They pushed the door open and found themselves in a room filled with jars of different ingredients: sugar, vanilla, and cinnamon. But one jar stood out. It was labeled "the secret ingredient" and glowed with a soft, golden light. "This must be it," Clara said, reaching for the jar. But before she could grab it, a loud rumbling noise echoed through the room. Out of the shadows appeared a massive, chocolate-covered dragon. Its eyes gleamed mischievously, and it blocked their way to the jar. "You can't take the secret ingredient," the dragon growled, "not without solving my riddle." Clara took a deep breath and stepped forward. "I'm ready," she said bravely. The dragon grinned and spoke the riddle. "I am the sweetest thing you crave, but too much of me and you'll misbehave. I melt in your mouth, but not in your hand. What am I? Answer, and you'll understand. Clara thought for a moment, then smiled. It's chocolate, she declared. The dragon laughed. Well done, young one. You have solved my riddle. With a flick of its tail, the dragon stepped aside, allowing Clara to take the jar of the secret ingredient. Clara and Chip hurried back to the center of the factory and poured the secret ingredient into the largest chocolate vat. Immediately, the factory hummed back to life. The candy trees bloomed again, the chocolate rivers bubbled, and the machines whirred with energy. You did it, Clara, Chip cheered. You saved the factory. Just then, a tall figure stepped into the room. It was Mr. Sweetberry himself, a kind-looking man with twinkling eyes and a chocolate-covered cane. Thank you, Clara, he said with a warm smile. Without your bravery and clever thinking, our factory might have been lost forever. Clara beamed with pride. It was an adventure I'll never forget. As a reward, Mr. Sweetberry gave Clara a lifetime supply of chocolate and promised that she could visit the factory anytime she liked. But for Clara, the best part wasn't the chocolate. It was the magical adventure she'd had and the friends she'd made along the way. As she left the factory, Clara couldn't help but think about how sometimes the sweetest adventures are the ones that bring out the magic in us all.